Coming up on this episode of Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover.
They're just offensively at a level that is historic. I mean, they're the best offense in the NFL, the most consistent and sustainable offense in the NFL. And when you have that, anything is possible. I mean, your defense and everything can be on fire around you. But if you have a quarterback playing at an MVP level, anything can happen.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us here at Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. We're bringing you our NFL Week 8 preview show, where we're going to break down all the primetime and Sky Sports games, share our best bets, do the 4-fold challenge, which might have some legs, look at our ATS picks as well. So lots to cover in the NFL. Week 8, almost halfway there. Byron, Joe, how are we doing?
Great, yeah, halfway there. Feels crazy, but yeah, weird week, all the bye teams, by apocalypse, we're calling it in fantasy football.
Apocalypse, yeah. 6, is it? 6 teams on a bye?
Yeah, and 5 good ones in the Raiders. Well, 5 good ones for fantasy purposes. Judge me out on some of them, but yeah, 5 fantasy relevant ones, and yeah, can't start Geno Smith as your QB4 if you play super flex leagues. So don't know why else you'd be playing him. So,
well, we might not see Geno again. Anyway, Joe, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a weird, we've had all the London games, they've gone. We've had all the double Monday night footballs, they've gone. So it's just standard football where it's like, oh, we're not actually talking about as many games as we normally do. So it's, it's certainly a fun week with a lot of big spreads, a lot of big heavy favourites. So that's how it makes things interesting. And yeah, it should be a good week with a few revenge games coming up, which I'm sure we'll dive into.
Big one, and it's a gaming focus for sure. Bit of a mix-up in order this week, our guest, because we've got RJ Ochoa joining us, editor-in-chief of Blogging the Boys, Dallas Cowboys, covering Dallas Cowboys for SB Nation. RJ is going to be in the middle of the show when we talk about Cowboys Broncos. So we're just going to jump straight into the Sky Sports early game, which is the Chicago Bears, a 6.5-point underdogs. I smell a rat. At the Baltimore Ravens, the over-under is 49. Hamstrung or hammer time, Ravens' fate hangs on LJ8. Can return of 2-time NFL MVP be the catalyst for a run for the Ravens, or is it too little, too late? Understandably so, the focus of this game is about, looks like Lamar Jackson's going to return, but we don't know for sure yet. I don't think so. But the Ravens seem to be getting bodies back, and very important ones. Lamar, Roquan Smith, Ronnie Staley's back. Possibly Patrick Ricard this week, which is huge for their running game. Yeah, what do we make of this one? And what are your thoughts, first of all, that the Bears are 6.5-point underdogs in this one? Nobody's talking about the Bears in this game.
No one is talking about the Bears in this game, which I find a little, how do I say, disrespectful. Bears have won 4 games in a row. They're 4-2. I think they're playing pretty good football. Maybe not perfect, but pretty good. And I am amazed this is 6.5 points. I know why it is. It's the Ravens. Everybody's going to be, not everybody, but a lot of players are going to be back. The Ravens haven't been good all season.
Ravens are good with these players anyway.
Yeah, I think this is a huge leap of faith by the odds makers here. I've already backed the Bears money line when it was 6.5 points, but I just took the money line because it was 5-2. Because if Lamar Jackson misses this game, that is going to end up, it's not going to be nowhere near 6.5. And I just need to see it from the Ravens before I'm buying back in. I was huge. The Ravens are my Super Bowl team. So, this is not me being, historically down on the Ravens. If anything, I was too high on them, clearly. But the defense has been soft all season. Yes, Roquan Smith coming back should help that. But Marlon Humphrey isn't fully fit yet. He's still getting his knee drained. Joe Alexander isn't fully fit yet. They've had a bye week, but it's 1 week. And that team looks completely lost, truthfully. They're giving up more than 32 points a game. I think the Bears win straight up. And I think 6.5 points is very generous.
Joe, thoughts on this one? Maybe let's talk about Chicago a little bit, because we haven't really talked about them. Or nobody has in regards to this game all week.
Yeah, I think it might work in their favour, this, it gives them the talking points, the bulletin board saying no one believes in us, blah, 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 even with the 4 wins. when you look back at them wins, not all of them have been, dominant wins. They can be a bit one-dimensional, but I think it was big getting Swift in the running game last week, where it finally shone and they had a different aspect. Obviously, they had a few injuries of the wide out to some are questionable, like DJ Moore and a few others, and Komet's questionable as well. But yeah, I was shocked at this. I feel like he just feels like we're all waiting for Ravens to come back, and it being down to Ravens Steelers last week of the season for the AFC North. It feels like it's scripted that way. So I feel like that's why it's leaning that way, just because everyone just expects the Ravens. Like they're still the second favorites to win that division, even though they've won one game. And like we've said, Lamar's not out that long. So yeah, I think, it's not a scary defense. And what this Bears offense can do, and what they've done the last few weeks is, finally get some points on the board. And I think it could be a big game for players like Adunze, like I mentioned, Swift before, try and get some of these players into the game, because, why not? Why can't the win go to 5-2? It's not a scary Ravens what it used to be. And this defense has done, I know they've played the Saints, the Commanders, Raiders the last few weeks, but even against the Cowboys, obviously, we talk about the Cowboys being, one of the best offenses in the league, and they restricted them to 14 points. So I think they've also stepped up as well. And if they can make this Ravens team another one-dimensional, where it feels like Derrick Henry hasn't been able, except week one, it's just not been going. So it's certainly an interesting line, and like you said, it feels like it's there to just drag everyone in, and then we sat here thinking, well, of course the Ravens won by 21 points, and Lamar's gone crazy and this and that. But yeah, I'm leaning the Bears just because I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think the Ravens can win it, but I don't see it being a touchdown difference between these two teams. I think it's just the Lamar effect, the preseason expectations, what people expect this Ravens team to be when they've not shown that whatsoever.
Yeah, obviously what you've talked about there from both sides. Public money's on the public money would see the bigger bets are on the Ravens. 67% of the money, and only on 46% of the bets are on the Ravens -6.5. So that suggests the bigger bettors are riding with the Ravens. I think my thought process on this, which might not necessarily be logical, is twofold. I think Ravens it's the combination of people that they're getting back, especially if Patrick Ricard's back. But Derrick Henry also had a really good game against the Rams, and obviously that front and how difficult they've been to play against. So I've seen signs of life from Derrick Henry there, a week off, more bodies back. And also, things are just going too well in Chicago. And that's it. That's it. So let's go to the bets. I'm on Ravens -6.5. Things are just going too well in Chicago. They're due a dip. It's just not going to be just straight up. Is obviously had a rough start, 1-4 in a row. There's going to be blips in the road. Caleb still not convinced. Not convinced. Caleb has been playing better. A bit of a down game last week against the Saints. Didn't play great. I think the Ravens' defense is going to be better, not good, just better. And I think with Lamar, Derrick Henry together, Ronnie Stalebach, I think they're going to be able to just kind of push things forward a little bit. They're obviously usually really, really good against NFC teams, especially at home, but they've lost the last 3 straight up and then against the spread after going 12-3 straight up in the previous 15. I think we might be deceived about it. I think Ravens win this by 2 scores and everyone jumps on the bandwagon again. We need an interesting AFC North as well. If the Ravens lose this one at 1-6, it's done. They can just claw and find a way just to pick up a win here and get going, because the Steelers aren't a million miles away. We've got a very interesting AFC North then if the Steelers, Bengals, and Ravens are all end up being quite close together. So 1 for, I think they're going to smash them. 2 for, I really want a Ravens win just to keep that division going and keeping it interesting. Byron?
Yeah, Bears over 24.5 points total, 17-10. Bears have covered this in their last 4 games, 4 out of 6 games this season. Ravens have given up over 24.5 points in 4 of 6 games this season. It seems to be I don't trust the Ravens defense is going to be magically fixed after a bye week, even with some players returning. So yeah, give me the Bears up 24.5, nearly 2-1, 17-10.
Joe?
Yeah, I've got a big Roma Dunza game. 100 receiving yards at 19-4, just under 4-1. Yeah, I think with DJ, with Moore, I think he played last week, but he's questionable again this week. So I think they might lean heavily. It feels like Dunza either has big games or or 20, 30 yards. He's a bit up and down. But I think this goes against this Ravens defense where, yes, they're getting some pieces back, but they were still getting thrown on. At the start of the year, they were giving up 246.5 yards, passing yards per game. In the first 6 games. So why can't the Bears do that? Obviously, you worry about Caleb, the up and down and the inaccuracies he has in his game. But I can see Odunze hitting them big receptions and getting to that 100 mark at 19-4.
Excellent. Cool. That is the Sky Sports early game in the books. We're going to head over to our guest this point. So we've got RJ Ochoa joining us, editor-in-chief from Blogging the Boys, Dallas Cowboys coverage for SB Nation. We're going to break down Cowboys Broncos with RJ. He's going to take our 4-4 challenge. I've got a little bit of college football talk as well. RJ is a alumni of Arizona State University, who, of course, coming over to play in London in the Union Jack Classic. So here's me with RJ Ochoa. Joining us as our Week 8 guest here in our NFL preview, we've got returning guest and friend of the show, I think we can say now. RJ Ochoa is joining us, editor-in-chief of Blogging the Boys. RJ, welcome back to Good Teams Win Great Teams cover. First of all, how are you getting on?
It's great to be back. Thank you for having me. I hope football season is treating you all kindly. It's the best time of the year. We were saying that before we started recording that it's flying by, and so I've got some anxiety about that. But the fall decorations are out. It's not quite cold enough to make some of those foods yet, but we're very close, and so I'm very excited about that.
It's definitely cold enough here. I'm not sure kind of in South Texas, but we're getting there here. We're in that stretch where we've got kind of football every night as well, with kind of the midweek college games have started, and then we get football every single night for like 50 odd days. So it is a great time of the year. You are a very busy man as always. Blogging the Boys going on, other interviews going on. Kind of just give us kind of a semblance of kind of what life's been like the last few weeks and what we've got to come from Blogging the Boys and your other projects, RJ.
Yeah, it's the best time of the year, and that means there's a lot to do. And so obviously every week it's just kind of a weekly assessment of what the Cowboys did, a preview of what they're hopefully going to do, with some fun things popping up in between. Last week I chatted with Laura Rutledge of ESPN, talked a variety of things along those lines. I talked to Bijan Robinson the week before. So just anytime, I can put my hands in a different kind of cookie jar, I definitely like to. And so I also, it's a bit sensitive coming across the pond because I also cover golf for SB Nation, and the Ryder Cup was not fun, to say the least, but it's always, an event full of pageantry, which I appreciate. And I think the Europeans do more than we do, which is kind of the reason for the success. But that's a different discussion. But yeah, I mean, when this isn't going on, I'm doing my best to watch college football or watch a television show or hang out with my family. I mean, it's, I miss this time of year when it passes by, but it is hectic and there's a lot to do. So you got to, keep your North Star where it needs to be.
We had you on the show back in June, and it really doesn't feel that long ago when we were doing kind of the NFC's preview. And yeah, we're here kind of almost at the halfway mark of the season. I caught the Bijan Robinson interview. It was like in the lead up to Red River, the Red River game, and yeah, just really cool. So yeah, keep up the great work, RJ, and pulling out some great interviews and continuing the Cowboys content because we all love it. And we're going to get into the Cowboys, of course. That's the main reason you're here, but. If you don't know, RJ is an Arizona State alum, and Arizona State are going to be coming to the UK just a little less than 12 months from now, taking part in what's been branded as the Union Jack Classic, the Big 12, again, coming over to Europe. We had a great Farmageddon game, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Dublin that we went to. It was awesome. And the Big 12 are coming over again to play at Wembley Stadium. How is it, RJ, again, this kind of expansion of college football into Europe? You know, we've got another game in Dublin, game in London, game in Germany. How is it that kind of college footballs now seems to be just having like this explosion outside of the US?
I think it probably ultimately starts with creating, extra revenue sources. College athletics are in a day and age where that matters a significant deal, and I don't have a issue with that or any problems. I think that that's the brass tacks of it all. I think that these schools are doing what they can to also raise awareness, raise international awareness. You correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I believe this is the first collegiate game to ever take place at Wembley specifically. So to be able to do that, and I certainly can't speak to the Kansas side of things, although historically their football program is not exactly robust. For your audience, they're one of the blue bloods in college basketball, certainly when we reach that part of the year. But Arizona State is on the rise once more, and I'm particularly excited about this. I know that from my friends at UK Cowboys, they're always so excited about what NFL games are going to go over there, and obviously hoping the Cowboys will make it. And it's been, at least relative to the Cowboys, since 2014 that happened. And my family and I have always talked about, like, would we go? Would we do it? But speaking matter of factly, a Cowboys game is a very stressful experience for me, just because I have so many things I have to do, and I would kind of hate that. It would be just a real shock to my nervous system to be managing all that, and now I have an almost 4-year-old. I mean, dealing with that. So this is kind of something where I can totally see myself taking my family and going to experience it all, and just having the investment of being a fan and an alum, and hoping that ASU pulls it off. But I'm really excited about this. You'll always get, when it comes to college athletics, a little bit of pushback when you take away a game from campus. This is a home game for Kansas, and so thankfully the Sun Devils aren't damaged by that. But it is so cool, and it is so awesome. I mean, the Dublin games have been a thrill, not just in the collegiate space anymore, but the NFL space. I mean, and so I am very, very, very excited about it, and I really want to try to make this happen, and hopefully pair it together with some sort of Premier League experience as well.
All right, so perfect time. The season will be about a month old in the Premier League, and yeah, who knows? Maybe Manchester United will be playing in London that weekend, and you might get to see Manchester United somewhere down there. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it, of course. And well, Arizona State, you talked about a program on the rise in the college football playoff last year. Almost pulled off that amazing comeback against Texas, and right in the mix for the Big 12 again. I think 5-2 so far, 3-1 in conference play. Pulled off a big win last week against Texas Tech, which was kind of needed to keep it going. Yeah, I mean, what can we expect? I suppose from obviously the nature now of college football with the portal and NIL has changed things a little bit. But kind of what can we expect the fans to bring, and what can we expect kind of the team to bring to London?
I think you can expect this is the ultimate tourist kind of thing for people. So I think you can expect some wide eyes and open hearts, and kind of anxious individuals to experience the London culture, the English culture at large. And so that, I'm sure that's always fun and probably annoying for people to come in and play to the silly tropes and the silly stereotypes. But relative to ASU and what to expect, I think everyone's well aware of Cam Scadaboo now. You talked about the heroic almost comeback against Texas. He was the kind of legend born out of that game. And last season, when ASU did win the Big 12 in their first year in the conference, and they're on at least track to continue to contend for it this year. It's going to be a very tense rest of the season, but we're talking about a team that's going to send at least 2 more players to the NFL, arguably both in the first round, certainly one in Jordan Tyson, but we'll see. The quarterback position is evaluated differently, and whether or not Sam Levitt climbs that high. We're a long ways away from that, obviously, but they're 2 players who are going to be playing on Sundays before it's all said and done. And I've seen several mocks already that have sent Jordan Tyson to the New York Giants, which would really bum me out. It's already difficult enough to square Cam Scadaboo being there. But I mean, this is I would argue that ASU has I know you love college football too, but the most exciting young head coach in college football. Kenny Dillingham is still early in his career, and I imagine is going to continue to be linked to some of these massive job openings. We've already seen a couple open up across the college football landscape in Penn State and Florida. Who knows about Auburn? Who knows, about a variety of other places before it's all said and done. But this is a group and a team that has an enormous amount of energy and an enormous amount of, I think, sometimes you have to find teams that are willing to do this. And I say that with great reverence for the London games and the international games, but it is a challenge for people that they're just not accustomed to, obviously. And I would attribute the willingness behind that to the ASU athletic director. Graham Rossini is all about exploring any opportunity that he can to spread the Sun Devil name. And so I would also, I can't speak to the Kansas side of things, but I would expect a full court press from Graham Rossini and his staff in terms of all sorts of pomp and circumstance that'll be done, obviously in the lead up to this game, the immediate lead up, the week before, 2 weeks before, stuff like that. And so I'm certainly happy to answer any questions about Sun Devil lore as we get closer.
Yes, that would be cool. It'd be great to, again, kind of get together again closer to the time. Also probably get together in London. We're going to be at the game. We're going to be going as fans. Fingers crossed we're going to get to go and actually cover the game as well. And we're really, really looking forward to it. We love going to the Dublin game because we just kind of love going to Dublin. Dublin's a great place. But Dublin itself, and because it's a commitment to, we've had great programs come across, and maybe kind of now we're getting a bit... maybe we're getting a bit greedy, RJ, here in terms of the NFL, with kind of the teams that get sent across sometimes. And like we get a couple of sometimes some dud games and things like that. That's hard to control. But from the college side of things, in the Big 12 in particular, say Iowa State and Kansas State last year, ASU, Kansas. I mean, the year before, outside of the Big 12, but Florida State came over, Notre Dame have come over. Like, there's been a real commitment to kind of showcasing, the best of college football. So, yeah, no doubt, I think London's going to embrace it, and there's going to be a whole new raft of college football fans off the back of it, which is awesome, and we'd love to see more of it. We don't want to steal games as well. I think we're kind of getting a little bit like, we don't want to steal your games, but it's cool when they come over. And you can get your tickets now, most importantly. Get the promo in. Union Jack Classic. You can follow Union Jack Classic on Instagram, X. All the links for the tickets are in there. And hopefully kind of get 80,000 people also at Wembley for it, which would be really cool and a great atmosphere for obviously for the students and athletes to play in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it would be a bit impractical for me personally to go to a Cowboys game there, or any NFL game, just because the Cowboys would have a game, that same week, whatever. And again, personally, during the Cowboys bye week, I do a lot around the house during that week. That's kind of the trade-off with the wife. But this is the lone opportunity I think I will have, just because it doesn't feature the same restrictions or same responsibilities and things like that. And so I'm very excited about the potential behind this. I know we were chatting about it. I've already started talking to my wife, my parents and whatnot, trying to figure out what we could do. And like I said, you mentioned that I would love to go see Man United, but I mean, if it's just a matter of checking out a Premier League match in general, I think that's something that has to be on everybody's bucket list.
Excellent. Good stuff. We'll look forward to seeing you down in London, and you'll have a great trip, no doubt. Let's get to the Cowboys, though. I suppose not most importantly, but it's been a wild start to the season, I think, so far for the Cowboys. Every type of game, top-ranked offense, defense down at the bottom, probably the worst, or certainly in the mix to be worst. What have you made kind of at the start? And the Cowboys kind of, we're heading here at 3-3-1, which is, again, this is such a Cowboys thing to do at the moment, isn't it? Like 3-3-1, such a wild record heading into this game against Denver. What have you made of what you see now, Jay?
Yeah, I think it's been truly a season of opposite ends of the spectrum. They've things have either been thriving and flourishing, or they've been the worst possible results ever. There's been no middle, despite the fact that they literally have a tie. And I mean, they always find a way, to your point, to do this. And it does somewhat feel like, and these are famous last words, I understand, that the waters are stabilizing in just a normal, chaotic way for the Cowboys. I think that the Micah trade obviously happened after we spoke, and I think that threw everything into turbulence. And by the time that had kind of started to subside, it was time for that Packers game. And there's a natural just kind of, disruption that happens when you have to play the player that you traded away. And then again, particularly because of the tie and the weirdness of it all. But I think that we have a large enough sample size now, and we can understand things about this team. And some of the things we had questions about, like how Brian Schottenheimer was going to be as a head coach, I mean, those things have been answered to the degree that you can begin to draw not only conclusions, but predictions about how it's all going to end. And so I think that last week's win was maybe what saved or held a level of excitement. Had the Cowboys lost last week, I do think that right now, ASU has pitchforks, but they would all be in the hands of Cowboys fans. It would be a very, very, very tough time. And I think right now, this current moment, I tend to look at, a lot of people do, obviously, the season in little sequences or stretches or quarters or whatever, and they beat the Commanders. And if they can get through this game on Sunday against Denver and then beat a crummy Cardinals team and a Raiders team on the other side of the bye, I mean, we're talking about a team that could be 3-1 heading into the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And that would be a very powerful thing, and I think would really kind of change the narrative on a lot of things, and would, boost Dak Prescott's MVP candidacy. People care a lot about that type of stuff. And so I have some faith in this team. I'm scared to give them too much. I think they've earned a lot of it, but they've also stepped on themselves many times along the way. And so it is in no way the season that I think anybody was predicting, because I would also offer as much faith as I have had in Dak and CeeDee and as much optimism as I had in the George Pickens trade. They're just offensively at a level that is historic. I mean, they're the best offense in the NFL, the most consistent and sustainable offense in the NFL. And when you have that, anything is possible. I mean, your defense and everything can be on fire around you. But if you have a quarterback playing at an MVP level, anything can happen. It's that valuable of a proposition.
Yeah, and speaking of, you mentioned sort of Brian Schottenheimer there. How impressed have you been with kind of how he's handled himself? Because when he came in probably February by the time they actually got it sorted out, but he came in like, what's this hire, and just feels like they just kind of screwed themselves out of any of kind of the top candidates. But I think Schottenheimer's carried himself really, really well, and he seems to be having a real big influence on the team. What are your thoughts on Schottenheimer's start?
Yeah, I mean, I know we spoke last time, and I said that I did not hate Mike McCarthy in the way that a lot of people did. And I think that Mike, maybe, do you recall when LeBron returned to Cleveland and he equated his time in Miami as having been at college? It felt like that to him, like they were 4 years of growth that prepared him for life. And I think that was sort of, proven to be true with how we saw LeBron play in that return to Cleveland. And I think that Mike was that for this nucleus of the Cowboys. I think that he develop them to a place that they were ready for a coach like Brian Schottenheimer. So it might have just been a right timing sort of situation from everybody involved. And I do think that Brian has been the right guy for what they've needed. He's been the right person to kind of instill and enact a new attitude and a new disposition. He doesn't run from history or legacy and the shadow that hangs over this franchise, but he also is firm in that they're writing their own chapter. Whether or not it's a successful one obviously remains to be seen. And so I've been wildly impressed with Brian for the most part, not just as a head coach, but as an offensive play caller. And I think that you have to give the man his flowers because he's pulling the right strings on a very, very consistent basis. I think if I have to isolate the thing I'm most impressed by, granted, the Micah Parsons trade did happen and it was chaotic and dramatic and silly and petulant and childish and small. But in our current moment, right now, this exact moment in time, the Cowboys have this weird Trayvon Diggs thing going on with the concussion and whatnot. And it's been a week and there is no story. There's no detail. There's nothing on what this is. It's just a concussion. It's just being left as a medical situation. I cannot tell you, I've been covering this team professionally for 10 years. I've been a fan of them my entire life. I cannot tell you a time where something was that simple and matter of fact. That there was always some dramatic, silly reason, something that leaked out, a report, a rumor, but this isn't the case. And if I have to, draw my own assumption based off this Trayvon thing as an example, I would imagine that maybe the Cowboys are trying to move him. That's purely a guess right now. But the fact that they're doing so quietly, that to me reflects the changes from Brian Schottenheimer, that they are maybe taking things a bit more seriously, maybe not as reality television-esque as they've been in the past. And I think if he accomplishes that at the very least, if he makes them a more football-centered football team, then I'll have been very grateful for that personally.
Yeah, and it would be a great change to see for sure from the kind of circus that it's usually been. And part of that offense success, so we know Dak and Dak's playing at an unbelievable level, arguably the best he's played, and that's quite a high bar because he's had years where he's been incredible at various points in kind of his decade in the league and with the Cowboys now. Seems like he's seeming to get the love from those outside Dallas now and recognizing that. But what's complementing that is a very, very productive run game that we were all petrified about coming into the season. And Javonte Williams in particular has been the one to take it on. I think we were all sort of worried about, was he washed? Were the injuries killed? How impressive have you been by Javonte Williams his first 6-7 games in a Cowboys jersey?
Yeah, and I mean that to me is kind of the LeBron analogy I was trying to chase, in that I think that Brian Schottenheimer recognizes that Dak Prescott can take care of the passing game, that there's no real work or modification that's necessary there. I would offer that Mike McCarthy helped that come along for Dak in his career. But to your point, I mean it's not a secret that Brian Schottenheimer is a legacy of running the ball, and I think that we've seen that really, find its footing with the Cowboys. I think Clayton Adams deserves an enormous amount of credit, the Cowboys offensive coordinator, Connor Raya, the Cowboys offensive line coach, because Javonte, I mean, there are nothing but flowers to go around here. Javonte deserves all sorts of credit. Was left for dead by the Broncos, and I think we can all understand why it just hadn't worked out, and they moved on, and the Cowboys have been fortunate that they have found a diamond in the rough there. But the Cowboys have made this work, not behind the best offensive line in the NFL like the Eagles, but amid injuries and chaos and dysfunction. And I mean, at one point in time, playing with one intended starter. I mean, that is a really rare thing for them to survive an onslaught of injuries like that. And you do obviously need the right and proper back who's able to capitalize and take advantage of those situations. And I think that Javonte's tenacity and physical aggression are keys and drivers to why he's able to do this. And so, but everything works in harmony. I mean, when you can throw the ball the way the Cowboys can, all of a sudden you have to respect things differently. George Pickens opens things up. I mean, it is, I don't know which of them outside of Dak is the specific rising tide, but they're all simultaneously rising tides and all simultaneously boats because they're all benefiting and helping each other. Yeah,
it's very, very complimentary unit. And yeah, it's been fantastic to watch. And they've needed it, right, in all of these games because the back end on defense, it's been a problem. Maybe we've seen some progress last week against the Washington Commanders. Is there one thing or what things do you think need to change for this defense to start kind of coming along? Because they don't have to be great, I don't think. If they can just be okay, then we're in for a good position. But what are those things, RJ, that need to change?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, we're not even asking for average. I mean, like, at one point in time, I think every parent says, just get a C, just get a passing grade. We don't even need that. Like, just don't like severely flunk the test. I mean, just do enough to just fill out your name. You know what I mean? And just, if you need to, guess all the answers, but don't turn in a blank piece of paper type thing. And so there's been a lot of discussion about zone coverage and man-to-man defense. And I think that, last week's very small sample size certainly, justifies all the conversations that have been had around here. And I'm not, advocating for more zone defense by any stretch, but I think that ultimately that's what has to continue to play out, is a willingness to adapt, a willingness to change, because we did not see that for the first 6 weeks of the season. Matt Eberflus and the Cowboys, and they deserve some grace and they deserve some benefit, and that Micah was traded away and there was the chaos and again the calming of waters and whatnot. But I think being willing to, again, forget the Micah, forget the zone defense, forget man-to-man, the willingness to say, okay, this week we're playing, the Washington Commanders without Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, and Noah Brown. How do we play that? This week we're playing the Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix can run a little bit. Not that Jaden Daniels couldn't, but he's got Cortland Sutton. How do we handle that? They have a run game that is powerful as well. I think that just wasn't happening. I think the Cowboys were expecting who they were to outlast any given opponent. And so I think that week-to-week adjustment is critical in the NFL. It is happening on the offensive side of the ball. And so I think that defensively, I know how silly this is going to sound, but I really hope they don't fire Matt Eberflus at the end of this year. Just because we make a big deal, rightfully so, about how he's their third defensive coordinator in as many years. They don't need a fourth in as many years. I mean, they need some sustainability there. And so we should all be rooting for Matt to continue to have success, to justify his staying around in 2026 and beyond. And last week was obviously the first step in that direction, but I mean, they're still in the red. I mean, they're nowhere close to the black in that respect, but hopefully this week is another step as well.
There's been a lot of noise this week that the Cowboys might go into the trade market or try and make a trade to help things defensively. How likely do you think that is, RJ? Or do you think kind of the reinforcements are going to come with like the return of Overshawn or Ravel coming back from injury?
I think that they are absolutely going to make a deal. I don't know that it will be for Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, but I absolutely believe they will add some sort of pass rusher. And I recognize and agree that counting on Overshawn to save you is a bit foolish. I think counting on Savon Ravel to save you is a bit foolish. I mean, he's, Overshawn is difficult enough in his own right. Ravel's never even played in the NFL. Yeah. But as foolish of propositions as I think those things are, right now that they packed everything they did and they're trying to build this plane in the air. We can't go back down to the ground. You simply cannot. So you have to work with what you've got at this point. I certainly wish they would have made different decisions in the offseason, and this doesn't justify them and this doesn't make them okay. But you're at a point in time now where you have to count on DeMarvion Overshawn. You have to count on Savon Ravel, and you really only have one, get out of jail free card, however you define that to be. And that's at pass rusher. And, maybe it is a significant card and that you play for Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson, or maybe it's a lower tier player and you still maintain the draft capital for the future and you continue to replenish and whatnot. There are arguments to both sides there, but I buy all of the smoke. I don't know that, again, it's going to be connected to one of these top sexy names specifically, but I would be a bit shocked if we get to the afternoon of November 4th and they don't make any kind of move.
Yeah, I should see, all to play out over the next couple of weeks. I think potentially the next couple of performances will determine how that goes, I guess. Let's get into this week's game in a bit more detail. So we've got the Broncos in Denver. It's the Cowboys are 3.5-point underdogs. Over under is 50.5. It's high noon at Mile High. Strength on strength. Cowboys high flying offense takes on Broncos stout defense. Which unit will win the battle and lead their team to victory? That feels like the story of this game. The strength of the Cowboys offense against the strength of the Broncos defense, and which one's going to come out on top. What do you kind of think of the keys to a Cowboys win in this one, RJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the offense has to shine. The offense has to deliver. They have to continue to be the group that we've seen them be in. I know it feels like they score on every possession, but they have had their lulls. I mean, they did have a lull last week. Obviously, things were okay in the second half, and they could afford so. But they had that lull late in the game against Carolina, and that cost them. And that's really unfair. I mean, it's really unfair to say you can't have a lull. You have to be perfect. You have to score on each and every single possession. But that's the reality. And I think if you asked or if you told Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer, you said, look, guys, you have to score on every possession. I don't think they would shy away from that challenge. I think they would embrace it, and I think they would take it on. And so in that respect, it's fair to hold them to, I hate to call that the standard, but the standard relative to expectation, just given the overall chemistry of their roster at this moment in time. So they're going to have to score. They're going to have to put up somewhere between 35 and 40 points and hope that they get, a weird tipped ball that can be intercepted or something like that and just mitigate the damage, because as stout as Denver's defense is, their offense is formidable as well. I think Bo Nix is playing really well. If you're looking for an ASU connection, Kenny Dillingham was Bo Nix's offensive coordinator, and Sam Levitt has drawn a lot of comparisons to Bo Nix. So I kind of like Bo Nix for those reasons. Not this week, obviously, but I think the only hope that you kind of have from a Cowboys standpoint is that Denver has been this fourth quarter team for a few weeks now. And your hope is that you can build enough of a lead. You can establish enough equity to the first 3 quarters of the game that, by the time Denver wakes up, if things follow that same pattern, that it's a little bit too much or too little too late. And so if that happens, if Denver is asleep at the wheel, even for the first half in this game, I think we all trust the Cowboys to put up a 10-point, 13-point lead that is hopefully enough to hang on for the ride.
Yeah, it feels like if they can get kind of ahead, they just kind of really need to put the foot on the throat. Right. And, we saw the Giants last week let Denver off the hook in a crazy ending. And is there a lot of confidence Cowboys can take from that? So the Colts put up, I think, just short of 30 on them. The Giants scored over 30 on against the Broncos last week. Is there a kind of some confidence that the Cowboys really can get at this Denver defense?
I think so. I mean, they're formidable. There's no doubt about it. But I think that, the Cowboys are as well. And I think that you have to feel like you can certainly play your game and play in your manner and your style and have success because other teams that have. And it's a game that's taking place on October 26th, to be clear. Like, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. But I do think that getting a win now would go a very long way. I mean, this Broncos franchise has had a weird number on the Cowboys. They've won 7 games in a row against the Cowboys. And so I think that, so to that point, Dak Prescott's never beaten the Broncos. Stuff like that. You would go get a road win. It would be the first time in over a year that the Cowboys had consecutive wins. They haven't won 2 games in a row since October 6th of last year. You'd be above 500 for the first time in a very long time. I mean, it would really, again, and it would set you up for this. No game is easy and you never want to overlook anybody. And this team did lose to the Panthers, but it would set you up for a home game against the Cardinals on Monday Night Football and a chance to really, coast into the bye week and feel like you've got a shot at this whole thing. And so in that sense, you can't make the game bigger than it is. But I think you have to approach it from the perspective of that defense is really, really, really good, but our offense might be the best in the NFL.
Yeah, it feels like Cowboys are going to need to steal one back after dropping that game against the Panthers, right, in terms of a game maybe where they're not necessarily favoured, and they're going to need to get at least one of those back. You could maybe argue they need one for the tie and maybe even one for the Bears as well. Right. But that's down the road. Certainly they need one to get that Panthers win back somewhere unexpected, and maybe this is the week. Although they're only 3.5-point underdogs, so not huge underdogs. Excellent. RJ, you are going to be taking on our 4-fold challenge. And we had our first winner last week. It only took us 7 weeks to get a 4-fold challenge winner. And it's not easy to do. And again, if those that maybe unfamiliar, you shouldn't be if you're listening or watching. But we picked one favorite, one underdog, 1 over 1 under from the NFL slate to try and make it's a 12-1 bet or plus 1,200. Bet. And we had a winner. Joe was successful last week. The Seattle Seahawks closed things out for him on Monday Night Football with their home win against the Texans. RJ, how are you feeling about taking on the 4-fold challenge?
I feel very confident. I also still feel very tired from that Seahawks-Texans game. I can't imagine how you all made it through. That was miserable in every single way, and so I'm glad it's over. But I'm happy for Joe that it worked to his benefit.
Yeah. Do we think is that going to be the end of the kind of the double headers? Do we think now is that kind of it from ESPN for Monday Night Football?
I believe that they are done this season, but I in no way think that they're done forcing it on us. And I love the international audience, and so with the international games now, I mean, you're talking about from domestically 8 or 9 a.m. Sunday morning all the way through now Monday night at midnight. That game I'm even Central Time. I'm not Eastern Time, but that game ended at like 12:45 a.m. Central. And so, I mean, they're taking up 2 full days from us in our lives, and also took it. I don't know how much you all follow or care about baseball, but that was the night of Game 7 of the ALCS. I mean, just give us a chance to. Look, I love football, but I mean, I love other things in life too, and that's all I'm just trying to say out loud.
Yeah, you kind of felt like the air come out of the stadium in Seattle as the Mariners kind of were beat by the Blue Jays during that game, which was so you kind of saw we was trying to keep up with that while watching the game in the stadium, and brutal way to lose. And you kind of just felt the whole place just deflate. Blue Jays, Dodgers. Well, that could be a whole other conversation that starts this week. And best of luck to the Blue Jays. Nobody wants to see the Dodgers win again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. Let's get into your fourfold then, RJ. Who have you got as your favourite this week? Who you liking? And do the business and cover as a favourite.
So I thought about going with the Eagles here, but that's just so many points. I really have a difficult time laying that many. I have two picks that I really like as underdogs, but I'm gonna go from a favorite standpoint. I'm gonna go back to Monday Night Football and make you all sweat it and go with the Ravens. Just because the Dolphins are that bad and Lamar is the line certainly reflects this, but seemingly back. I do think this is everyone enjoys it. This is the kind of last night. Oh no, that's Thursday Night Football next week. What I'm looking too far ahead here, and I'm on FanDuel. I don't know where y'all's preferred betting sports partners, but you have an early pick for next week. So that being said, I'm going to go.
I like it.
Yeah, but I'll stick with Monday Night Football, and I'll lay the 11.5 on the Chiefs, just because they appear all the way back, and it's sad and frustrating. And I feel for the Commanders because it's never fun when your franchise quarterback is taken away right before a big game. I just don't see how Marcus Mariota has a chance. I know he's had playoff success at Arrowhead in the past with that amazing throw and catch to himself, but this just feels like a party for Kansas City on Monday night, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's worrying. Well, it depends, but certainly from a Commander's perspective, it just feels worrying that Jaden Daniels just keeps kind of picking up these injuries now and missing games. And, from their fairly recent history, they're going to have to kind of really look after him and do that. But it feels tough because they're on a bad run of games as well now, which could kind of kill their season. But yeah, Chiefs look all the way back, as you said, RJ. That was a statement last week. I know it was they'll beat the Raiders, but it feels like if they're going to get back to like beating up on the bad teams, then the runs come in, and kind of expect, and we'll see Mahomes and Andy Reid in February at the Super Bowl. Who's your underdog that you like this week then, RJ?
I can't believe they're an underdog. I know they've eaten into the home field advantage a bit, but the 49ers, I'm seeing 1.5. I know it's in Houston. I don't care. That I just on the subject of being back, Kyle Shanahan is all the way back. That's petrifying. That's frustrating. So I mean, if somebody wants to take Houston as a technical favorite, by all means. But I think San Francisco is going to win, so that I'm getting any points is beneficial in that sense.
Yeah, they've just seemed to have managed the situation so well in terms of it feels almost every week a huge player's going down injured, but they're managing it so well. Coaching staff, as you mentioned, do such a great job. We're going to be going to a UK watch party for a 49ers fan group, the 49er Faithful UK. So we're going to go watch that game with those guys on Sunday. So that should be interesting.
That's awesome. My guy Will Gavin is a Niners fan, and so I don't wish them any luck, to be clear, but I think they're going to win this game, if I'm being honest.
Excellent. Yeah, 1.5 point underdogs at Houston. Excellent. Let's go with your under next, RJ.
It's low-hanging fruit, and I mean it's the sweetest for a reason. I'm going to take the Cowboys Broncos game. Last week, my friend Jamal Forrest, who covers the Commanders, when I spoke to him, he said that he was anticipating a shootout in the Cowboys Washington game, that there was no over that scared him, and I believe it hit, although that was mostly the Cowboys doing the work. There's no over that scares me in any Cowboys game, just because of Dak Prescott and the defense. So it's 50.5 from what I can see, and that feels pretty solid.
Excellent. Good stuff. And then last but not least, we've had your favorite underdog under.
I'm going to go. This is a little bit of manifestation. I recognize that. But I am going to take the Eagles Giants. I think that could be kind of a slow, tough game. I know the Eagles offense woke up a bit last week, but I imagine that New York wants to run this out. Philadelphia wants to get back to running the ball. So I could see just either a bunch of 3-and-outs or some long methodical drives that makes this thing go by quickly, and the under obviously hit.
Yeah, good stuff. Under 44, I think we've got that as Giants Eagles. Yeah, 44. So we've got Chiefs minus the 11.5, 49ers plus 1.5, Cowboys Broncos over 50.5, Giants Eagles under 44. That's your fourfold and 12-1 shot from RJ. Best of luck. We hopefully RJ, you are the first guest to hit the fourfold. this season. And yeah, we usually on a roll. Once one goes, it takes a while for the first one to fall, and then they all just kind of start coming. So yeah, you might have timed it right being the guest this week, RJ.
Well done. Yeah, the floodgates have been jarred open, and I'm here to kind of push them through. The avalanche can fully begin.
Good stuff. RJ, before we wrap up, just give us a reminder again of where we can follow all of your fantastic work.
Thank you very much. Bloggingtheboys.com is where you can read my work and that of our fantastic staff. RJ Ochoa on any level of social media. If you just search that, that's generally my handle most places. It's phenomenal to be back. It really is the best time of year. I hope you all and your families are doing well and enjoying it, and that the cold weather is working in the right ways with the right foods and whatnot. Soon enough, we'll blink and the holidays will be here. I'm already stressed about, Christmas shopping, and my wife is saying all this stuff. And so, again, it's a stressful time of year, but for a very, very good reason. I would not switch spaces with June. You know what I mean? Like I'll take this 10 out of 10 times each and every single time.
Excellent. RJ, thanks very much for coming back. We appreciate having you on the show. Always a great guest. And go follow RJ Ochoa and Blogging the Boys, and just go follow all the fantastic work. We're going to continue the rest of our episode now, looking at the remainder of the Primetime and Sky Sports games, and of course, sharing our best bets. Thanks to RJ there. Always great to have him on the show. Go follow RJ at RJ Ochoa over on X, Instagram. Check out his amazing interviews with people such as Bijan Robinson, as we've mentioned there. And check out all the Blogging the Boys content at Blogging the Boys. Follow the social media channels. Check out the website where you see RJ's great writing amongst all the other contributors that they have. Let's get into our bets then for Cowboys Broncos. I'm siding with RJ. He took the Cowboys Broncos over in his fourfold. I'm going to take it in the game here, over 50.5. I like it. Cowboys overs are 5-2 so far, but games are averaging plus 13 points over their total so far. Denver have been an under team, but I just think that pull of Cowboys offense and defense is enough to take this over. Baron, I assume you're next.
Indeed, yeah. Just give me the Cowboys money line, 6-4. Should be a fun game, but Denver have been a lot of fun and very weird games this season. I don't think Dallas will let them off the hook like they've been let off the hook in some other ones. I think the way Dak's playing, the way the offense in general, but especially Dak is playing, I don't think they're gonna let up on that. So yeah, I think Dallas can go into Denver and win.
Quick one on this. Does this worry you? Because 92% of the money and 83% of the bets are on the Cowboys plus 3.5.
No, I don't worry about such things.
And
Dallas is
we're all on them for ATS.
That worries me.
The combination
that worries me
is not good.
Yeah, that worries me a lot. Jeez Louise. I thought we were all going to be on the Bears. I didn't think it was going to be the Cowboys. Dallas's history in Denver not great. But we do have a revenge game.
We do.
Javonte Williams going to be out. Sean Payton couldn't have chucked into the curb any quicker. And Sean Payton, I think, needs a bit of a, give him one for Russell Wilson, Everyone's favorite hero. Let's go and cook in Denver. Dallas don't have a great history in Denver. They've won once their lifetime. Paul, I think you might have a stat about Dallas's last win against Denver, period.
Yeah, so the Cowboys have lost 7 in a row against the Denver Broncos. The last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos was on the 10th of September, 1995. And Joe?
Number 1.
The UK number 1, the last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos, 10th of September, 1995. 5's a clue as well. 5's a clue.
Oh, is it 5? The band?
Too early for 5, the band.
Yeah. 5.
Clue.
What? My original pick was going to be take that, relight my fire, but
it is a banger. I think probably too late. 95, probably too late. They were probably close to Robbie leaving at this point, weren't they?
I think 96, but yeah, getting there.
5's a clue.
5's a bit of a niche clue, I will say.
Yeah. That's thrown me off.
Oh, it didn't help.
It did not help whatsoever. I've got nothing.
It confused me, and I know the answer. I think about what the clue means.
Do you want? Shall I just give it you at this point? Yeah.
Yeah, just give it to us. I'm going to guess.
It's Michael Jackson. Jackson 5 being the clue. There you go. Come on, Joe. You Are Not Alone by Michael Jackson was UK number 1 for 2 weeks. It's just starting its second week at number 1.
The last and only time Dallas have won in Denver is a song that was number 1 for a lot longer than 2 weeks as well. I don't know if you want to guess it or not.
Brian Adams, surely.
Incorrect. Around the same time, though, 6th of December, 92.
Oh. So if it was number 1 for a long time, so it was saying it was Christmas number 1 in 1992.
Was it wet? Was it wet, wet, wet?
No. It was a good time for long period songs, though. This spent 10 weeks at the top of the UK charts. Set the record for the longest run at the top by a female solo artist in the history of the British singles charts.
Whitney.
Whitney.
Houston?
Yes, indeedy. Also, star of our cover draft, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only 2 times Dallas have beaten the Broncos. Period. Here, there, or anywhere. But only done it once in Denver.
Excellent.
But
cool.
I'm taking the money line 6-4 because that changes this week.
In spite of all of that.
Someone I don't know is number 1.
Get the number 1 here, get it logged, and we'll do this in 15 years' time. Going last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos was. Right. I'd be worried if we're doing this in 15 years' time. Joe, your bet.
So I'm with Barry. I'm leaning the Cowboys, but my bet is to go Ingram anytime touchdown. I feel like he's getting more and more targets. The Cowboys are the second worst defense in terms of touchdowns allowed in the passing game behind the Bengals. So I think they could Ingram. It could be a big game for the tight end. I just feel like every week he's getting more and more. And Bo Nix has been so up and down. I don't really know where to put Bo Nix or how I feel about him like this year. Just like we expected a lot coming in, and it's just been a bit meh. But yeah, with being the Cowboys defense, I had to choose one pass catch, and I'm going with Ingram anytime touchdown at 5-2.
Excellent, good stuff. Let's move into Sunday night football. Feels like we're steaming through this week, just with the absolute lack of games or fewer games in TV time. Sunday night football. Joe, do you want to hit it?
Oh.
Revenge game.
The biggest revenge game of the season, yeah?
Ahead of Javonte Williams.
Yeah. Not quite. It's the Packers as 3-point favorites at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over-under is 45. Reunion under the lights. Will Aaron Rodgers be sent packing? Can Aaron Rodgers complete the set with a Sunday night football upset, or will it be go pack go in Pittsburgh? So, for a clue from the headline, Aaron Rodgers has beaten all 31 other teams in the NFL. There's only one he's not beat. There's only one he's not faced. Yeah, he's not faced, right? He's not. He was due to play the Packers, but was injured. Yeah. I think he was due to play the Packers the year he popped his Achilles. So it's his first time playing the Packers. This is likely going to be his one and only opportunity to complete the set. What do we make of this? Headlines are all going to be surrounded about Aaron Rodgers, but the Steelers are coming back from a disappointing loss last Thursday night football. Just had a mini bye, and the Packers struggled with the Cardinals last time out. 4-1-1 against 4-2. What do we think?
Interesting matchup. I favour the Packers. I think the Packers have got the better offense and the better defense. Do they have enough spite in them? Because that's where Steelers might get carried. Aaron Rodgers is no hard feelings against the Packers. He's made that perfectly clear. I just think Green Bay are a better team. Green Bay keep underwhelming and disappointing me, but they do get wins. You know, they are 4-1 in 4 games. Probably a better way of saying that because 4-1 sounds horrible. I might just squeak by here. I've got them to cover, but I think this might just be like 4, 5, 6 in that range. I'd struggle to see it being a 12-point blowout, but I feel pretty confident they will win. But I've underrated Steelers quite a lot this season, so with a pinch.
Joe?
Yeah, I feel like the Steelers will have to make this into a scrappy game in order to win. I don't think if he goes back and forth, and even though like Rodgers did have a great game against the Bengals, but there's a big difference. I think most teams could do that against the Bengals defense. This Packers defense slightly is different. Yeah, I agree with Brian. They have underwhelmed, but it feels like Michael Parsons. His best game was last week, where he had plenty of sacks and a few fumbles. So yeah, I think this is. The Packers should feel confident going in this. I think it's also a big opportunity for Jordan Love to show, we were right to move on, because I feel like again Jordan Love's had another weird season where I feel like he could be a top 5 quarterback if he just sustained, his top quality play. But he has too many games where he just throws away, or he's very passive and he just doesn't do much. That might be a bit harsh, but doesn't have them like wow plays constantly. And the Steelers defense can pick them apart. They've been a bit weird. Again, another weird team, another weird defense, the Steelers, with they have individual, superstars, especially on that line, but they don't seem to have them all on the field at the same time. And, it feels like the defensive system in Pittsburgh can be a bit too rigid and not, change for what the game demands. And I'm still not sure about having Ramsey's, the cornerback 1 or 2. I feel like it can get picked on, but I think again it might be another big game. With all the wide receivers can go and finally hit that game and have a huge game, or will it be the tight end for the Packers again, where he just constantly outperforms, and it could be again. I wouldn't say top 2 tight end, but he's getting up there. He keeps producing for this Packers team, so I'm leaning the Packers. I think it's going to be a statement win, and hopefully it makes, like you said, the AFC North, a bit more interesting if the Steelers lose and go to 4-3 with the other teams winning, except the Browns.
I absolutely love the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Love the Steelers. Love that you two are on the Packers. Love the Steelers. This is the typical. We have the typical Mike Tomlin, shit the bed on Thursday Night Football, and this is the winning a game they shouldn't win. This is Pittsburgh Steelers football. Winning a game they shouldn't win after giving away a game or losing a game they should have comfortably, they were big favourites to win. I mean, should we do the numbers? Let's do the numbers. It's always fun. Steelers as a home underdog, and this is just in the last 30, so there's more to this, but in the last 30 is a home underdog. All while Mike Tomlin's been there. 18-12 straight up. They win 2/3 of the time. Is that right? Yeah. 2/3 of the I can't do any maths. No, it's not 2/3. Close to 60% of the time as a home underdog. They're 19-7-4. They cover the number against the spread as a home underdog in the last 8 at home. They've covered 5 of the last 6 as a home underdog. Packers on the road, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 as a road favourite. Flip to the bets, Joe. Steelers. They're going to win this outright. Rodgers is going to complete the set. You know what? Let's have a Rodgers Hail Mary to win it. The one that just be kind of nice way to kind of put it. Like Rodgers we saw him launch one last week. Rodgers Hail Mary to win it. In all seriousness, I agree with you, Joe. I think Steelers have to muck the game up, I think. The Packers haven't been impressive. We all thought they were going to be better, a lot better than they've shown. Obviously, they've got a good record, but a lot better than they've shown. I think the Steelers muck it up. I think it's just a big forget Rodgers. This is TJ Watt, Herbig, Highsmith. This is the game. TJ Watt game for me. And Steelers keep it tight, keep it close, find a way to win. Might take 6 Chris Boswell field goals, but they're going to find a way to win a game that they shouldn't win.
Mike Tomlin is going to have to play Nick Herbig this week if that's going to be the case, because last week he played 38% of the snaps, and I do not understand it. He's gone from mid-80s to 38%, and he's maybe been their best player on defense this season. I really don't get it. Just what you mentioned reminded me of that from last Thursday night. Yeah, Charlie, you tell him. I have gone Packers over 26.5 points. They've hit that in every game but one this season. They lost at Cleveland, being the exception. And of 4 of those 5 times they've hit it, they've scored exactly 27 points. So we'll take over 26.5 and hope they get it for the 5th time this season, which is an incredibly unusual number. The Steelers have given that up as well 3 times this season. one to the Jets, one to the Seahawks, one to the Bengals. The only time they haven't was the Patriots, Vikings, and Browns. Patriots 5 turnovers, Vikings 2 turnovers, Browns was Dylan Gabriel's debut. So, I think you can get this Steelers defense. I don't think it's anything to write home about. Give me over 26.5 points for Jordan Love and the boys at 13-10. And Christian Watson back this week.
Nice. Another speedster. Joe?
Yeah, I've got Josh Jacobs, 100-plus rushing yards at 9-2. He hasn't hit it this year. He's been close. He's had 93 against Bengals, 86 Cowboys, and 84 Commanders. But if a defense allows Chase Brown to get over 100 yards after just not doing anything all season, it feels like this could be the team to do it on. Like I mentioned, it's been a weird Steelers defense where we expect higher standards than they have, but teams have been able to be able to run on them. And I think what Green Bay has is they have the dangerous wideouts, the speedsters, so they're not going to be put in the heavy boxes. They're going to have plenty of cover in the back end. So I think Josh Jacobs, I know he's questionable, but it feels like he's questionable most weeks, and he just suits up because that's the kind of player he is. So to get his first 100 rush yard game against the Steelers at 92, I thought it was a nice price because you don't normally get prices for number one high quality running backs.
Excellent, cool. On to Monday night and our last primetime game to focus on. He's a bit of an iffy one now, so Jaden Daniels' injury, but Commanders plus 12.5. Underdogs on the road to the Kansas City Chiefs. Over unders 47 exactly. Commanders down a general and Chiefs are locked and loaded. Mariota deputizes again for Washington, who are clinging on for dear life. Will Mahomes? Who's Mahomes? Will Mahomes prove once again he is the real commander-in-chief? Some good work there, I thought. Gents, what are your thoughts on this one?
No Daniels. We're going to have Mariota. He did catch a pass for a touchdown once before in Kansas City in a playoff game for Tennessee. And he will apparently have... thrown and caught. A bit of a maverick is Marcus Maverick-iota. And he apparently will have Terry McLaurin and he will have Deebo Samuel. I think that's where the good news ends, though, because the Chiefs are rolling. They are looking like one of the best offenses in the league. Rashee Rice came in and immediately looked like Rashee Rice. There was no warming up. I think he got 23.6 expected fantasy points in the games. Didn't quite get that many actual fantasy points. But Mahomes knows who he is. He's his number one receiver immediately. Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton are going to be the threats downfield, as they always are. Rashad Smith is getting more and more work, especially as a receiving back. And, Travis Kelce's still there. Slowing down, but he's still there as a weapon. And Max Mariota had a great game against the Raiders earlier in the season in a sneaky revenge game, but this is not the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Steve Spagnuolo. And I've had a look at Mariota this season already. So I think I picked the Chiefs to cover. It doesn't feel good on such a huge spread, but I've still picked the Chiefs to cover because I just think they're rolling at the minute. They're my number one power ranking team. I can't remember where we got them shook out totally, but they're my number one team right now.
Just on that, Chiefs is big home favourites. They're 10-10 ATS in their last 20 at home as a 10 or more point favourite. So not usually great at covering these big spreads at home, but they did so by a mile last week. Joe, what are your thoughts on Chiefs Commanders?
Yeah, I have said Chiefs number one in my power rankings. They finished second overall, I think part of them fifth. I was super impressed. I was super impressed with the Chiefs. I think I do agree it could be kind of like the Raiders game where they're sitting the starters in quarter, for the fourth quarter. Essentially the Chiefs had a mini bye last week. Like most of the superstars didn't get many snaps. I think Chris Jones didn't play that many snaps, and he was the most adverse compared to all the other defenders. So I think these Chiefs teams are going in with fresh. I think that offense is the light clicked where you've got the deep threats. I think Thornton, how him becoming such a factor in the game as well helps open up spots when, if someone covers Worthy, you've got another downhill threat. You get Rice back, who he didn't actually get that many yards last time, but he got so many targets, and I think it's going to be the same again. And it just helps someone like Kelce as well, where teams are not going to be focused on Kelce. It's going to be a lot softer coverages for him, just with the players around. So again, I think he could have another game. The running game looked actually pretty decent against the Raiders as well. I know that's the Raiders, but this Commanders defense has not looked that good as well. And they lost Armstrong, one of the big, Donis Armstrong, one of the big players on the defensive line. And you just worry that, I don't know if they can keep up with Mariota. Obviously, again, the 2 wide receivers, I think that's huge. I've struggled with this line because I think they could score, 1 or 2 touchdowns with some trick plays, try and get Debo the ball as much as possible, try and spread the play. And everyone loves Scary Terry. I think contested catches is amazing. But is it going to be enough if the Chiefs, if the Chiefs start hot? I don't know if this Commanders have got enough team to catch up. I think the Commanders need to get the lead and try and hold on to the lead and use Bill to run it, because I think if Marcus becomes one-dimensional and it's all about they know he's going to pass, I think it's going to be a long game for this Commanders, and we could be sat here again saying, the Chiefs have had another minute bye because they absolutely smashed this team.
Yeah, I mean, let's flip to the bets then. I've just gone under in this one. I just think that the Chiefs are just going to kind of just suffocate the Commanders offensively. I think the Commanders will struggle. Should mean I'm confident that the Chiefs cover the 12.5, but just been burnt too many times with Chiefs in the big number, so I've just kind of sat away from it. But yeah, under 47, defense is starting to show up and show out, isn't it, for the Chiefs, and Commanders naturally going to struggle without their main man Jaden Daniels. Next up, Byron, I assume.
Can I surprise you?
Well, because sometimes Joe just randomly throws him in next, and he doesn't warn you.
It's like I was saying, can I surprise you? My bet is Patrick Mahomes anytime touchdown, 33-10. It's still around 3-1, nearly 7-2. I don't understand it. All he does is run into the end zone most weeks. Just give me Patrick Mahomes anytime touchdown, 33-10. And we do have another number one trivia for you. Since Paul's stealing my bit, I thought I'd better source another one. The Chiefs as 12-point favorites at home are 13-2 lifetime. They lost at home. They lost 16-0 to the Rams. Crazy what they're doing. In September 25, 1994. And you know what I'm wondering? What was that time?
September 25, September 25th, 1994.
Yeah.
I feel it's not Wet, Wet, Wet song, because Joe mentioned earlier.
I'll give you a little bump there. This dethroned Wet, Wet, Wet.
Oh.
After 15 weeks at the top of the charts.
And what a banging tune that is as well, by the way.
You know what? I think it's like a banger.
Yeah. Better?
It might be, yeah. Love Is All Around a bit sappy. This has got more banger vibes. IMO.
I'm just going to guess, because I know this is going to be wrong. Is it Elton John, the Lion King song? Was that nice?
Circle of Life.
Circle of Life. Or the other, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Can you feel?
Yeah. Sorry, that one.
It's not, no, but good shout. I think that was summer 94, so, not crazy.
Okay.
Not Lion King was 94, yeah. 94, it's too early. I was going to say Spice Girls, it's too early for Spice Girls. Is it too early for Boyzone as well? I feel like it might be. Is it Boyzone?
It's not. It is the 15th biggest selling single by a female artist in the United Kingdom ever.
15th?
Mm-hmm.
94.
I'll give you another clue. This is Monday night. Nope. This is Monday Night Football. If it was being played 2 nights
Saturday
earlier,
night, it's Wigfield.
It's Wigfield. Saturday night. Better than Wet, Wet, Wet any day of the week. So, yeah, it's been a while. But what hasn't been a while is Patrick Mahomes rushing in for a touchdown. So 33-10, bang, get your money on, enjoy your Monday night.
Excellent. Joe?
Yeah, I've got a Rashee Rice anytime touchdown scorer at evens. You can chuck in some others in the parlay. I think he's going to get at least 4 or 5 receptions and probably at least 30 to 40 yards. Just against this Washington defense there, yards gained per pass attempt when it's against the defense, they currently last is 8.3 yards per attempt. So they can get thrown on, and this team has, they focused on Rice last week. I think they're going to do the same again. So I think he could get, a touchdown and plenty of yards. So again, fantasy game day. That's also a good shout. It's a Monday night. What about if you choose the Monday night the game? Then wide receivers could pay off big for the Chiefs.
Cool. Forgot to mention my understat as well. Unders 21-9 in the last 30 Chiefs home games. Not many points at Arrowhead. Cool. All right, next up, we have got our four-fold challenge. Don't know why I said it like that. RJ picked his. You heard it earlier on. And as a reminder, we picked one favourite, one underdog, one over, one under from the NFL slate. And Joe hit his last week and got us off the mark to get our first four-fold over the line. Usually that means we get a run. So hopefully that's the case. Byron, you are first pick this week.
Yes, indeedy. Please, can I have the New England Patriots as favourites? 7-point favourites against the Browns in Foxborough. Hottest team in football, possibly. I haven't fact-checked that, but they feel like it. And Drake May's cooking. The defense has been better. Said on the review show the other day, 4-0 since Christian Gonzalez came back. The Browns have had ups and downs, certainly, but I think this is a week where the Patriots' run defense is good, and I think that's the heart of the Browns' offense. I think the Patriots have got a better offense. I know the Patriots have got a better offense. I think the Patriots have got a pretty equitable defense as well. So going on the road, rookie quarterback, I just think the Patriots are going to, an easy victory for the Patriots. I think coming up here, probably double-digit cover.
Cool. I think an easy one for me. Obviously, there's one underdog that I love that we've already talked about. There's one that I love even more than that. It's Joe's San Francisco 49ers. He was definitely going to take them at 3 if they were there. 49ers plus 1.5 on the road against the Houston Texans. I'm going to the 49er faithful UK meetup that they're having. So they had one a couple of weeks ago in London. They've got one in Leeds on Sunday, heading to Hickory's barbecue place in Adel, just outside Leeds. Plenty of the 49er faithful crew are going to be there. We're going to watch. We're going to chat to some people. We're going to record some things while we're there. And the San Francisco 49ers are going to win and beat the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are putrid. San Francisco 49ers dealing with their issues, injury issues. Coaching doing a great job. Don't know if Purdy's back or not. I don't think it matters. Give me the San Francisco 49ers.
Nice, did like that. The first two picks are the ones I was hoping would come around to 3 and 4. So that's
probably bad news for us, Byron. That.
Yeah. Oh, this is not. Yeah, I'm gonna go my underdog. We've already talked about this game. I feel like now we've talked about it, I feel less and less confident. But I'm gonna go the Bears plus 6.5. I feel like the Ravens. It's just too much hype. I might be falling into a trap. We should really get a sound drop for that, shouldn't we? It's a trap. I'm going to Bears plus 6.5.
It's a big old rat line.
And then I'm going to go my under. Yeah, I'm going to go Titans Colts under 47. I think the Colts are going to score plenty of points, but I don't think the Titans are going to score that many. So I'm hoping that the Colts get up by 30 points and then just phone it in for the rest of the game and just run the clock out, because I don't think this Titans team, even though they looked impressive to start with last week under the new interim head coach and Cam Ward, they did a few things on the first couple of drives. I still, once them drives, there was nothing much. Cam Ward needs to keep hold of the ball for this under to hit, not just giving 3 points to the other team. And I think being a division match, I think it'll play close. So I'm going to go the Colts and tie to the Colts under 47. I just don't think the Titans are going to score that many points.
Cool. I will take whatever I take here, Joe, is a game we've already talked about, so I'm sorry. I'll take my over first. I'm going to piggyback on Byron's game. I'm going to go over Browns Patriots, over 40.5. This Browns defense is awful away from home, averaging 31.4 points per game it gives up across its last 10 road games. And the Patriots are just going to smush them, hammer them. score 30 odd. Browns might get 7, 10. I don't know. They need 10, don't they? But I can see the Patriots getting to late 30s.
Is it definitely 40 and a half? It's not changed like 36 and a half, and you're not going to be complaining when we chat about this on Monday.
Well, if it did,
Tuesday.
and it has, then yeah, give me the lower number, but it hasn't. So.
I do, just being candid here and behind the curtain, I do think Paul should get a tick for last week, by the way. I misunderstood the rule. So, and I did raise that the point line had moved. I just kind of figured that meant you were going to change your pick, but apparently we said no during the show. I don't recall that. But yeah, I think you should get the tick for it because that is
very sporty.
No, the rule is before before the podcast. At that point, if it's changed from when we locked it, we'll change it. But that's Paul's job,
but it had
by 3 points.
But Paul didn't change
and it had changed before we started recording.
I agree.
We just didn't update the sheet.
You can't reward incompetent. I can't even say the word. You can't reward it.
12,
15, 11, 16, and 1.
Get it changed.
I'll give him. Okay.
God damn it! Thank you.
That was my fault.
Justice. Yeah. Anyway, more on this while we're obviously. I don't need another push. You can't just give me another push.
Did you have more?
You carry on, Byron. Sorry.
All right, thanks very much. I'm going to take the under in where's the game being played? Why have I lost the two teams? Oh, it's in the evening. I wasn't expecting it as a Sunday late game. Bucks Saints 47 under, please.
I like that one.
Yeah, Bucks are. I think one of us three might be getting a call at wide receiver this week. I can do the wide. You guys can maybe do the receiver part. Yeah. They are running on fumes. And I'm going to throw one quick fantasy game day tip out here. It didn't make my 10-minute tips selection, and I don't think it made any of yours quickly before I threw out. Tez Johnson is 2,200 again this week. I do not understand it. But there was a receiver I like more at a higher price point, but I just want to throw Tez Johnson out as I don't know why he's 2,200 again. He's back-to-back touchdowns. Baker seems to trust him, and Baker doesn't have anybody else, so you better trust him. The Saints lost the center this week for the rest of the season. Spencer Rattler's had real ups this season. I think he's been really good compared to expectation. But I think damaging that O-line is a really big ding for them. And Kendre Miller sneakily has had a ton of work this season, and he's out for the season now with a torn ACL. Devin Neal will be backing up Alvin Kamara. Taysom Hill, I'm sure, will get involved with some nuisance, as he always does. But just a lot of dings against the Saints this week. And
I think he's not practiced as well, and Kamara's flashed on the injury report, which might just be the case for him every week at this point. But you're also
I think that's probably more maintenance. But I mean, Kamara hasn't been great this season either. So yeah, I was really surprised to see this line was still 47. Don't tell me to come down to 37 while we start recording. I'm taking the 47 as my under.
I'll let you keep the 47, Byron, just all goodwill. And just quick shout out, Saint City and me guys are in the Superdome, so hope you have a great time. Hopefully it's a good game, and yeah, fingers crossed Saints get a win for you.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. I know, but you want they're traveling all that way. They're so dedicated. You hope they get a good result.
Oh, I hope they do. I just have very little confidence they will, but yeah, I certainly hope they do. Underdog, I'm taking the Cowboys money line, so I will certainly take them plus 3.5 points, please. I'll struggle in my underdog because you've took the two good ones.
When you bet, Byron, when you actually place your football, are you gonna keep in the Cowboys plus 3.5, or put them in money line to get the better odds?
Probably just keep the over 3.5, the 3.5 points.
Plus 3.5.
Just out of it is what it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Just interested, that's all. Cool. You need a over, and no, you don't. It's me. Joe's not put it on the screen yet. That's why I was confused.
Yeah, I just need an over.
Yeah, cool. So I can.
You need a favorite and an under.
Favorite and an under. I can hold on to the undercard because you have both taken one. Give me the Atlanta Falcons against the Miami Dolphins. Dear God, when you think the vibes can't get you worse, Tua starts moaning about being small. Great, yeah, it's -7.5, Joe. Sorry, Falcons -7.5. Worried that we're all on them, but I'm expecting a bounce back from the Falcons after an extremely disappointing performance on Sunday Night Football against the 49ers. The Dolphins have just got nothing, haven't they? I mean, that's kind. Just so poor, and I just can't see how they're going to get any better. Falcons have been pretty good. Have been really good defensively. I think they are. What are they? Second in yards per game, just after the Browns. So expecting that to continue, and I just think this should be, this is a get right game for the Falcons. So make the most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take my other game we haven't talked about. I'm going to go Bills at Panthers over 46.
Red Rocket.
Yeah, I think obviously the Bills have had the bye week, so I think they're going to come out swinging. I think Josh Allen, after 2 losses, I think they're going to want to show what they're made of. And I think that this Panthers could score on this Bills team. I don't think I'm relying on one. I don't think this Bills defense is that good. The cornerbacks have not been playing amazing. They're not been defending the run very well. And it's in Carolina as well, which it seems, I know they got the first away win last week, but it seems like they play well. I think they're 3-0 at home. So I think they're going to put up a fight against this Bills team who, hasn't outperformed many teams, especially on the defense. So I think this could be a fun game. My only worry is if they just go lean heavily on the run game and the clock just runs out. They have really long drives, but that could get made up by Josh Allen could score, in 10 seconds if he wanted to. So I've got that to be over 46. And then finally, I'm not liking it. But it's my only other favorite where I'm more confident. I don't like the big spreads. And we've talked about the game. I'm going to Packers -3 at Steelers.
I thought you were going the Bengals there.
Oh, I can't do it. Can't do the Bengals. 7 points.
Just while you're typing yours up, George, I wanted to throw in something to back up your Bills' defense isn't very good. Last year, I remember shouting out, the Panthers gave up 5.2 yards per rush, as by far the worst in the league. The Bills are giving up 5.8 yards per rush this year. Their defense is falling.
Christ.
Yeah, they've given up 938 rushing yards. They're not the worst, but they've played less games than the Dolphins, who are the only team with more rushing yards against. 5.8 yards per attempt on the ground is appalling.
I feel like the Panthers need to make a decision now as well. Is it Rico Dowdle or is it Chuba Hubbard? And Chuba Hubbard shouldn't necessarily lose his job because of injury, but Dowdle was that good for that 2-week span because they kind of went half and half last week and it kind of messed them both up. So I feel like you just need to commit. You just need to commit to one as your one and not have 1A and 1B because it didn't really seem to work.
Probably do it to the one who's good and not the one you paid. No offense to Chuba Hubbard. I love Chuba Hubbard, but Rico Dowdle's a better running back.
Fair enough. So I need an under, don't I? Just Chiefs Commanders. Talked about it. Chiefs Commanders under 47. I was going to double up for a second there, maybe go Dolphins Falcons, but I'm not. I'm just going to go Commanders Chiefs under 47 for reasons previously stated. 21-9 in the last 30 at Arrowhead. Under has hit. Byron, you need an over.
Sure do. And a little concerned with AJ Brown's hamstring, but I'm still going to go Giants Eagles over 44. A lot of tough lines this week that I don't quite love.
Get on RJ there.
Oh, he's gone the under. Oh, I didn't even notice. Aha!
Let's get ready to rumble!
I forgot how long that soundbite is.
Yeah. I think both defenses, especially through the air, can be got at. The Giants are falling apart on pass defense, and they weren't great to start with. If the front can get after Jalen Hurts, yeah, maybe. But I think the big thing is AJ Brown going to be fit because I think Darius Slayton's going to be back, which is a huge deep threat to go up against those, questionable Eagles DBs outside the two good ones. And if AJ Brown's there, it's going to be such a threat. And it's obviously a Saquon Barkley, yet another revenge game, his third one against the Giants at this point. But hopefully we get to see Saquon hitting his stride again at some point this season, because he's a wonderful player to watch, even if he does play for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, yeah, over 44. And truthfully, it was just because I hate so many of the lines. I don't love this one, but there's some horrible lines, I think, this week. It's easier to find an under than an over, in my opinion. So, I'll take that to finish it off.
Excellent. I feel like when Saquon goes off, he's just going to go off for like 200 yards against somebody. Yeah, he's just going to it's not just going to have like a good game. It's just going to go crazy. I feel like it's just happening soon. I don't know when, but it's going to happen soon. Excellent. So there are our four folds. 12-1 bets. Hopefully we can cash in another this week. Let's go then to our ATS picks. So yeah, this is again, we've got season-long competition. I'm just 3 games ahead of Byron. Byron had a bit of a disaster last week. I almost hit everything, it felt like. Shame I didn't follow it up with even more bets. But yeah, Thursday Night Football's already happened, but just me flying solo on the Chargers. Guys, what are we doing? Charlie picked the Chargers. What are you two doing?
Well, I already had it in, which doesn't help. But do you know who is Mr. Thursday Night?
Charlie.
Carson Wentz. Charlie might be 4-0. Carson Wentz is lifetime 6-0 on Thursday night.
Oh, nice. Cool. I didn't know that, but I feel more confident in Charlie than I do in Carson Wentz. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Tells you where it's at. We're all on the Falcons, which is terrible news for my fourfold. Byron, just you on the Jets. 6.5-point dogs against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, even in a Joe Flacco revenge game, I'm still going the Jets. The Jets aren't an 0-7 team. Like, they're not that bad. They've been in a lot of games. They've lost a lot of games close. They're going to win one sooner or later. Like, they are actually trying to win games, unlike the Miami Dolphins and Mike McTankiel. I just think they're going to win one soon. It is very funny that they changed quarterbacks and then immediately Tyrod is day-to-day. That is very funny and very Jetsy. Justin Fields was asked about the comments made by Woody Johnson today. And he was like, I don't have social media, I don't pay attention to that, which is probably as good a response as you can give. Because, he wasn't exactly singing Justin Fields' praises. It was basically, how is Aaron Glenn meant to win when this is our quarterback, which not great. But, yeah, the Bengals' defense I still hate. The offense is obviously better, much better with Flacco. But the Jets are going to win a game at some point. The Bengals can lose any game. So I'm just taking a punt on the Jets. And there's no science behind it, clearly.
No, that's bad. Clear. Well, we're all on the Patriots, which could doom another fourfold. Just me on the Eagles. We talked about it a little bit, and I just think kind of the way the Giants lost that game last week, there's going to be a hangover. And I kind of like the Eagles maybe just to kind of get out in front and stay there. All on the Buffalo Bills. That's the Panthers going 4-0 since Meow Mix packed it in. Just the Ravens for me, as we've discussed, all on the Niners, all on the Bucks, all on the Cowboys. This could be a disastrous week for us, guys. This could be a real bad ATS week. Byron, just you on the Titans. It's a big number, plus 14 at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's a big number, is the entire analysis set there.
Excellent, cool. Just me on the Steelers, as previously discussed, and all of us on the Chiefs. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that we're all on together. What do you think our record?
What's that? 13.
Yeah.
2-5.
What do you think record's going to be on all across those 7 games?
2-5.
2-5. Yeah, I'm thinking 2-5.
I'm going 7-7. 7-0.
I love it, Joe.
Yeah. I know we need to do the analysis on that, but yeah, not great when we're all on the same side. Cool. That's it for our NFL Week 8 preview. So thank you very much again to RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys. Go give the site a follow. Go check out all the great Dallas Cowboys content that's being made there. And just go give RJ a follow personally as well. He's got lots of great interviews in the bank that you can go listen to, and also some great interviews coming up. So go support RJ and come give us a follow and support, please. I'm sure you already are if you're listening to or watching this, but give us a follow. Good teams win, great teams cover. Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Overcast, and I forgot one.
Anyway, you get a podcast.
And YouTube as well if you want to see our faces. Also, follow our social media channels: X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. We gave out 16 winners last week, 16 winning bets across the podcast and the social media channels. While we certainly don't position ourselves as betting experts, listening to Good Teams Win great teams cover will make you money. That's a fact. It pays to listen to good teams win, great teams cover. Check out our Fantasy Game Day 10 minutes tips that drops on Saturday. And make sure you go put your lineups in for Fantasy Game Day. And we'll also be back with our review episode coming out on Tuesday.